Hello and welcome to another episode of the BashTalk podcast. I do have a special guest today, which is none other than Burnley's very own Matthew Hayes, aka Matt Hayes, who's a local strongman and well-known figure in our community. And Matt, if I can ask you to just introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name's Matthew Hayes, aka White Rhino Strongman. Been competing on and off now since 2012, I think. So over a decade now of strongman competition. Bash has kindly asked me to come back and do another interview with him, following up from the last one we did, which I believe was 2020.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So at that point, I was recovering from 9 breaks across both my legs. The consultants at the hospital basically told me that I would never walk again. I will pick up on a few things that I've touched upon previously. I was told I'd never walk again. They wanted to amputate my right leg. It was that badly mangled. And Julie, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, is now my wife. We got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She played a massive part. She was arguing with 2 top consultants at Preston Royal for over 2 hours, saying there's no way you're taking his ankle off. You don't know his powers of recovery like I do. And lo and behold, she got away. Thank goodness. Which made me live to fight another day. So October 19, I was told I'd never walk again, basically, even after they saved my ankle. September 20, I went and competed at Lincolnshire Deadlift Championships and won the competition, pulling 345 kilo.
Wow.
I only gave myself 7 weeks prep for that, and 7 months prior to the comp, I was still being wheeled around in a wheelchair. So talk about a comeback. I have been back on 2 more separate occasions, and so it wasn't. I didn't go in 2021. I went in 2022 and pulled 350, and I went again last year and pulled 360 and just missed 380. So you can see the progress there. I pulled 370 in training the week before at Moles. So maybe if I'd have gone 340, 380, it might have gone instead of 340, 360. Also, last year I did my first full strongman comp at Liverpool Strongest Man in May. That was a big task for me. I was the eldest athlete there by 8 years, I believe, and I still held my own. A few events didn't quite go to plan. The Viking press was about, I think it was 180 kilo or something like that, which was about 20 or 30 kilo heavier than what it was at World's Strongest Man. Yeah. So I'd been hitting 9 reps in training at the comp weight, and I only managed 3 on the day. My whole right side cramped up, but it's just how it goes on the day. And I finished 5th out of 15 athletes, and like I said, I held my own against some of the strongest athletes currently in the country that were there that day. So I was a bit peeved at first, let's just say the least, but once I'd thought about it and where I'd come from and what I'd come back from, and to hold my own in that lineup, I was holding my head high, to be fair.
Okay, yeah. So one thing from the first time I spoke to you, well, firstly, it was an odd one because it was like peak COVID, and we just jumped on a Zoom call, didn't we?
We did, yeah, yeah.
But so what we'll do based on that conversation we had last time, we'll kind of just layer up so that we've got like a timeline of things starting and where we're at today. So the first bit is going back to 2019.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the time that when we spoke about it, we couldn't really talk about it.
Yeah, to full effect.
We couldn't talk about the full. But basically, when you fell, it wasn't entirely accidental, was it?
It wasn't a fall, no. Which was I couldn't speak about it at the time. I can speak about it freely now. There was a lot going on at the time. It was a suicide attempt on my part. I threw myself out my Range Rover on Barden Lane in Burnley, and I hit the tarmac, and unfortunately Julie was left to pick up what was left of me. So that's why I was mangled, but I'm a suicide survivor, and I'm proud to say that I am, because I dread to think, I'm getting a bit emotional because you can probably hear it in my voice, but I dread to think what I would have left behind. Do you know what I mean? I still haven't seen my kids. That's 5 years now. It'll be 5 years in April, sorry. Oscar and Jacob, hopefully one day they'll come back to me. They're getting older now, so who knows? I've not done anything wrong. When I went to try and pick them up the last 2 times, I had the police phoned on me. I've not got the finance to go and battle the courts and whatnot, and them court orders, I've heard people like spend 10, 20 grand and they don't mean nothing. Yeah. They just get pulled away. So it is a sore topic, but it is what it is. I've got other things going on. Anyway, yeah.
No, that's okay. Yeah. So in terms of the, like when you did hurt yourself, um, back in 2019, going to Barton Lane, and you got to a point in your life that you were feeling quite, would you say, low?
Massively.
Yep. And based on how you're feeling at that time, you kind of made a kind of, was it an impulsive decision, or was it you'd been thinking about it for a
No, it
while?
was just purely impulsive. I lost Lee as well, didn't I? Lee Bowers had died. So Lee was like a second coach to me, and everything that I had going on, uh, and that on top of it, and then I wasn't getting on with my family members, and like Julie was under the cosh from my family to a certain degree. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know how
Yeah.
she coped, especially with what was like. So we were running a Children's Day nursery in Cone, and we were waiting for Ofsted to come and register us as a business. It took them 18 months to come out, so I was paying dead rent on a building for 18 months. So financially, the impact and everything,
Yeah.
it was just like everything was just through the roof, mate. It was just a snowball effect on everything that could have possibly gone wrong. Did do.
So right now, I mean, we're blokes, we're men,
Yeah,
so we're gonna say like I'm going to steer the topic towards men and say, look, there's a lot of men, but also there's women that have similar issues
yeah,
that they affect as
yeah,
well. But they're going to be in a position where they might be under financial strain, family pressure, so on and so forth,
yeah,
and they might be in a similar position to where you were feeling quite
yeah.
low. And how would you, or if there was anything you could say to them if they were on like the precipice, or if they were right on the point of thinking, oh, I can't do this anymore, like what would you say to them?
It is very difficult, and because as a group and as we are, the way the media is leading us, they all tend to focus on the negative. There's no positive feedback. There's a guy called Benjamin Famine who is a Manchester lad, and he's part of a mental health group. There's Casual Minds Matter as well in Burnley. I started going there. They helped. But what it is, it's like if you flip your mentality, and like I've got a thing in my room, in the kitchen, and it says White Rhino, try and find a positive in every single day. So everybody focuses on the negative. It's like, say if you go for a meal, and then how quick are people to complain about if it's not right,
Yeah,
but yet if they enjoy it and have a meal, how quickly it is to leave positive feedback.
yeah,
It doesn't happen because it's expected. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're doing a job, it's like rogue tradesman. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like if somebody does a tip top job, it's like it's not, oh thanks, you've got, you're having to ask for recommendations, when if you've done a shit hot job you should be getting told, oh you know what I mean, you've done a minter there.
yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Like give somebody. It's like I put a post on Facebook the other day saying, or I commented on someone's post saying, it's weird now. You walk down the street and you say hi to someone, you get looked at like you've got 10 heads, because people are too into the technology.
Yeah.
It's not the dumb thing anymore. There's old school morals. We're losing them, and we need to bring them back, because that's the power to the people. And it's like I don't get it.
I think so. So one aspect you probably say is about finding positive reinforcement. Then, so
Yeah, looking. No matter how deep of a shithole you think you might be in, or where your head's at, there's always a positive somewhere. You might not think there is. I was like this, and then I started looking, and this really happened during my recovery. Do you know what I mean? So like Julie said to me, she said, try and achieve something new every day. So which is what I was trying to do.
yeah,
Like I was even, as soon as I was on my bed, I was deadlifting. Like, I had a band round me with a band tied to weights under my bed, and I was just moving my back because I had to keep the blood pumping around my body so I didn't get blood clots and whatnot.
yeah, yeah,
Even though I was on Delta-Parin, which is supposed to relieve all that sort of stuff, you can still clot. And I ended up getting cellulitis in my leg while I was led to have on bed rest at home. So I ended up having to go on antibiotics for that as well.
So with so what you've ended up finding is that the kind of aspects that would have helped you maybe got there a bit late for you.
Yeah,
So in
yeah,
terms of knowing
yeah,
about
yeah,
positive
yeah,
reinforcement,
yeah.
and then because for the people out there now who may be feeling quite low, it's just a case of maybe trying to reach out and finding some kind of group that they can speak to. So do you say there's like a men's?
There's Casual Minds Matter in Burnley. I think there's also there's one in Blackburn as well, I believe. I know there was. I don't know if there still is. And there's obviously Andy's Man Club. And then I can't remember the name, the one that Ben's involved with, but they do a thing where it's a complete mind reset.
Okay, and I believe there's
And it's free. They send you a link and it's free to do. I just can't think of what it's called. I've not spoke to Ben for a while, so I'll have to probably get back in touch with him.
Okay, because I believe in Nelson there's also a lad called Madge that does the walk and talk as well.
Now as
Badgie is a different one.
right, no.
Yeah, but so it's just a case of trying to reach out to people if you can.
Yeah, basically, there'll be somebody who knows, and if not, drop me a message and I'll try and point in the right directions.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good because so you've come out of your recovery, 2019 leading into 2020, and now your mindset's different.
Massively.
So it's no longer glasses half empty constantly.
No.
It's more like you want to achieve something. You're going to start setting. Was it daily goals?
Yeah, daily, hourly. I mean, it's like the way I broke it down. So like at one point it was every day or a week, even a week, like because my recovery process was slow. Do you know what I mean? So I had to achieve something every week, and then as I started getting stronger every day, try and do something fresh every day, start exercising more, pushing myself around in a wheelchair. Do you know what I mean?
Did both legs heal about the same pace, or was it?
Yeah, no, both around about the same time. Luckily,
well, that's all right.
and my left leg's pinned and plated in both sides.
So you would have come off the crutches in one go then, without. I mean,
yeah.
That's all right then. But then
it was a wheelchair, then a walker, then my sticks.
And I think I haven't read too much into the research about it, but I've seen quite a few kind of meta studies on when people are in some kind of they've had like an operation or major trauma, and then when they are recovering, that the kind of mental aspect of kind of mental strength that you need to recover is also like a really key component.
Of course it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can understand. There was down moments. The amount of times I cried in Julie's arms, thinking, "Am I ever going to get back to what I was?" And I'm not going to lie. You've got to work. You've got to want it. You can't go, like you said, you can't go any half measures. You've got to full bore go at it and say, "I'm coming back from this, and I'm going to show everybody what I can actually do."
Because unfortunately, there are a few people who I've met in life who've had some kind of traumatic injury, and they've never quite been able to fully recover from it. And it's not just the physical aspect, but like if someone hurts their knee, for example, or they do like an ACL or something, like you'll see almost chalk and cheese, two different type of responses. One person will just get the surgery, and then for the rest of their life they'll be like, "Oh, I feel it in the winter, I've got pain in my knee," and you get the other person who they'll be doing all the stability exercises, the balance.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I was doing. I mean, because bearing in mind, I got discharged from Preston during COVID. And I got discharged early because I was able to get about. They didn't want me going back due to the risk of spreading COVID. So I said, fine. So I was actually going to Mo's gym, paying Zai. Zai rehabbed me. I was doing all the exercises at home. I was rehabbing myself at home, Googling, researching.
Yeah.
This is what I mean about needing to want it. Diet, nutrition, supplements, vitamins, minerals putting into your body to help you speed up the recovery process.
Yeah.
You've got to want it, and you need to put in the work to do it, because otherwise you're going to be down there for a long time.
And we're talking an injury to the extent, like you mentioned at the start, where they were talking about amputation. So
not just that, I nearly died.
Well, yeah.
My blood pressure, I'll just touch upon this, my blood pressure was unreadable for over 4 hours. My heart rate was at roughly 220 beats a minute for over an hour, which is unheard of. They thought my heart was going to come through my chest. And then it took... So once it stabilised me, once they stabilised me, they did a 4 hour surgery. But then, even after that, they said I'm going to need more. I've not been back and had one more surgery. They said I'd need multiple surgeries. I've not had one because I've rehabbed myself that well since I got discharged from the hospital that day. I've been back once because I got some cellulitis in my knee, but that was something totally different.
Yeah, infections happen, don't they? So
yeah.
So you've got to a point. You've rebuilt yourself effectively.
Massively.
I think, dare I say it, but COVID might have even been almost like a blessing in disguise. I think because if it wasn't for COVID, then you would have been straight in the gym, whereas you would have knuckled down during COVID time, done loads of research.
Yeah. But I also had weights at home.
Yeah.
Because I bought the weights. Do you know what I mean? To start off lightly, but Julie bought me a bar the year before. So then I bought the welders were making them steel plates. I had about 300 kilo plates at home.
That's all right. Yeah. The home gym, home recovery.
Yeah. Well, no gym, just in the yard where I was.
Oh, good. So, when we go through the timeline then, so then you mentioned you're obviously a little bit older. How
I'm
old are you?
43 now.
43.
Yeah.
So, honestly, to be honest, that recovery is even more impressive.
Yeah.
Because you tend to see like all the studies and stuff says like once people get to like 35, 36, there is a little bit of a drop off, and then you get 38, 39, a bigger drop off, and so to recover from that is flipping heck, man. That's impressive. But how did you find it in terms of trying to get an actual kind of training routine in? Because on one hand, you're trying to get stronger, but you're trying not to
Damage anything.
damage your own injuries. So what was your training frequency like?
Don't get. I started from scratch. That once, twice a week. I was going having sessions with Mo. So Mo oversaw a lot of what I was doing. If I started hurting, he'd tell me to stop. I'd tell him if I was hurting. I'd tell him where my aches and pains were. Anything. I had Zai there, the physio as well, that was working with me throughout it all. I'm still working with them both to this day.
So, but at your initial injury point, was it just like 1 or 2 days a week, and you just do like a push pull, something like that?
Yeah. But and then basically a lot of band work to get the little fibres going in my legs again, in my ankles.
And then, did you find your hips had tightened up as well?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. Because you would have been bedbound for a bit.
I mean, Mo came to my house and gave me some bands, so I was like, even with my external fixator, my leg, I had the red band, and I was moving my ankles and doing rotations to strengthen up my while I had metal work in my leg.
Yeah. So, actually, yes. So have you been abroad since you've had your injury?
Twice.
Did you set any metal detectors off with your leg or anything?
No, it's titanium. No, it didn't.
Ah, right.
No.
That's got this image of you just like
No.
through.
Funnily enough, it was I was laughing my head off. I went through clean as a whistle, and then Julie got strip searched. So.
I mean, of all people,
No, that's what I mean. I was laughing my head off.
Oh, man. So, at the start point, you're doing low frequency compounds, push pull, but are we talking like 2-3 sets each?
You just look lightweight, very lightweight, and then like 3-5 sets depending on my upper body. I could pretty much do what I wanted within reason, you know.
Yeah.
But
so at what point did you kind of ramp it up?
It's been a steady process. So 20, like I said, I give myself 7 weeks prep to pull 3, 4, 5, and I got ready in 7 weeks to pull that. But if you actually go back and look at the video, I'm carrying a lot of bad weight. I'm touching 25 stone because I've been laid up. So all I've prepped for is purely to pull a deadlift. I couldn't walk far. I couldn't run. I wouldn't have been able to do a full strongman competition. I was there purely to pull a deadlift weight. Do you know what I mean? But when I look at me now and look at what I was then, there's a massive difference around this section and all of my upper body, my arse, and everything. Do you know what I mean? So I just purely prepped for that. And then I did Lancashire Strongest Man 21 or 22. I think it might have been at Briarcliff Festival.
That was 22, I think.
Right, and I finished dead last. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't really. Even at that point, I was still having bad times. Like 3 years on, and it's still. I was still having like things where I'd go back and I'd be in myself, and I'm like, come on, pull yourself out. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's probably only these past last year and now coming into this year where I've really pulled everything together and I'm back where I was competing 10 years ago.
Okay, and then let me try and I can't relate to the level of injury that you've had because I've never had anything like that. But let's say you're playing footy and you roll an ankle, and it takes let's say I hurt my ankle today. I know mentally it's going to take me a long time to even get under a squat rack because you feel like you're kind of like spongy.
Yeah.
So how did you get that confidence to think, you know what, I can just get
slowly build. Just cause don't get me wrong, it's still in the back of my mind now when I'm pulling. Is the metal going to snap in my leg? You've just got to put it out of your mind and go for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so squatting, there's no rotational movements. The ones that I'm worried about are the moving events where I can actually roll my ankles, on a turn, if I'm doing the farmer's walk or a yoke, if I overstride, and it's like They're the ones, but you've just got to put it out of your mind and go for it.
I was going to say, I'm surprised Mo hasn't got any dad doing Pilates or something.
He knows me.
Yeah.
He knows me well, and he knows how determined I am. And he even said to me the other week, he said, "You're in the shape of your life, aren't you?" I said, "I'm getting there. There's a few things, and I'm not quite as strong as where I was 10 years ago, but we are getting there, and we've got a big year ahead."
So so like you mentioned, you're 43 now, and then you did the England Strongest, didn't you?
In 2015.
That was 2015. So if you were to do a competition now, what's going to be different about your preparation? So we know that obviously you've been injured, but I'm talking in terms of, because with age, it's a little bit about you've got to manage your kind of glycogen levels, you get meters and stuff like that. What are you going to do differently?
Right, well, somebody's jumped on board with me who is, I reckon you'll know his name. He's a former 5 times Mr. Universe and 3 times England's strongest man, Eddie Elwood.
Oh, wow.
He's I met Eddie years ago before Lee became my coach. I went over to his gym at the time was called Elwood's Fitness World. It's now changed gyms. It's now called Extreme Fitness in Hartlepool. I'm going up to see him, but I reached out to Eddie before he even offered coaching to anybody. And he's done my diet plan for me, my training program, telling me so that's game the nutrition. I'm not drinking anymore. That's game changing. Do you know what I mean? It's like all the bad things. No crisps, minimal bread.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the diets. I'm constantly eating. There's food, but that's just to maintain what I am now. That's not to gain weight, and that's probably about 10,000 calories a day.
Wow. I probably should have bought some food here then.
I ate before I came out when I was on the phone, so it's all right.
So for example, let's say your split now is it'd be like 3-4 days a week you're training at the moment now? Or?
Well, my program for Ed, what Eddie's got me doing is 2-3 days a week in the gym, but what he's done is changed my program, so my program will be comp specific now, as opposed to me just going in and doing bench, squat. Do you know what I mean? Just training the muscle groups and then going event training at Moles on a weekend. Eddie's now got me in a program where the type of training he's got me doing is going to specifically help me when it comes to my specific comps and the specific events I've got in each comp, if that makes sense.
Do you tend to, obviously without giving away too much of your nutrition, so do you tend to keep the carbs consistent or do you load up a little bit?
So the only carbs I have in the morning is two slices of toast with 6 scrambled eggs. And then after that, it's like, so I'll have 2 bananas and a protein shake mid-morning. And then it's brown rice, no pasta. He told keep pasta out of it.
Brown rice is good.
Yeah. He said, so that's pretty much without going into it.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I was more interested in just seeing whether you'd kind of loaded a little bit or you just kept it consistent.
Yeah. It's just pretty much that.
Consistent.
Yeah.
It's good. To be honest, the main reason I take an interest, obviously, I'm not as old as you. I'm not saying you're old, but I'm not your age.
Cheers, Bash. Just rub it in, yeah.
but I'm getting there, and obviously I'm still competing in my sport of choice, and I'm feeling it already. Like I can't. So some of those younger lads who I compete and spar against, they're in their 20s. They can spar like today.
Yeah.
They can spar again tomorrow. Whereas
it's a few days recovery. Yeah, I get it.
Literally, I have to this is the day I'm going to spar, and then I just have to eat and eat.
What he has introduced to me is obviously not just the diet, but the amount of vitamins he's got me on. And I was like, when he sent it through, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
but then it's game changing, and like within the first week of me being and what he told me to do, I was within 2 weeks. I've not benched 200 kilo since COVID. So I was training, hush, in a secret location, and I was benching over like 200 kilo, so I was like, right, I'm going to get back to it. And I'm not really supposed to bench on my program, but I wanted to do it for my own sanity. And 2 weeks after being on his diet and the nutrition supplements and his training program he gave me, I did it within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks.
Wow. Do they? Because I could be imagining this, so it could be a figment of my imagination. But did they ever have a variation of bench in the strongman competitions where you kind of like laid down?
Yes, it was on a log. It was on a log years ago when Jeff Capes was competing with John Paul Sigmarsson.
Yeah.
They don't really tend to do it. It's not really a strongman movement. The only exercise that'd benefit you bench wise would be the incline bench for the shoulder when you come to the log press.
Yeah, but I was going to say because you do see a lot of slap tears with just a good old fashioned bench press, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see why they probably don't want
I
to
mean,
make it the same.
that's what happened to Lee. Lee Bowers tore his pec benching loads of people, but luckily I've torn my bicep, but that was deadlifting years ago when I didn't know what I was really doing. I was just big and bulky and ripping the bar off the floor with poor technique. And then I tore my bicep.
Was it partial tear or?
Right, so
Oh, crikey.
so basically, what happened? I felt a twinge in here about a week before, and I've been told since that was a trigger for that going. So when it happened, and I went in, and he went, "Well, we can't stitch it." I went, "Why not?" He said, "Because your tendon's still attached." I was like, "Right." I said, "What's that going to do with it?" He said, "If I was a bodybuilder, they'd have done it for aesthetics." And they said, "Well, your tendon hasn't detached. Your muscle's rolled away from the tendon." And he went, "We've never seen that before." I said, "What do you mean?" He went, "For that to happen," he said, "your tendons must be like tow ropes." So, honestly, that's what he said to me. I'm like, all right, sound. But bearing in mind, I don't work anymore, clearly because of my legs. And after a competition, I can't move for weeks. Even after a training session, it takes me ages to recoup and the supplements and everything. The amount of massaging Julie's got to do on my legs and whatnot to get me back. Do you know what I mean? So I forgot when I was. The bicep, yeah.
Tendon, yeah.
So he said to me, we'd only operate if you was a bodybuilder, and your tendons are pretty much like tow ropes. And I was like, right, wow, okay. So that was it. They let me go, and then that's just how it's healed. But the only event that it really affects me on is if I've got reps to do with a log and I've got to clean it. But you can use a lot of your body and your hips for that to get it through.
Okay, so with the 2025, it's still pretty much starting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And competition season's going to be what, a couple of months away now?
May for me,
May.
4th of May.
So what kind of are you expecting the type of events to favour you for that one?
They are.
Well, that's all right.
They are.
I like the sound of that.
They are favouring me, and I could potentially, on my best day, if I have my best day, I'm not saying I will, I am backing myself to potentially at least podium, if not win it.
No, so where's that comp going to be?
That's at Bishop Auckland Football Club on Sunday, the 4th of May. It's May Day bank holiday weekend.
Well, I hope the weather's nice for that. Yeah.
I found out a little tip about that actually the other day from a football guy who I know from Burnley. Bishop Auckland, apparently, because the way the World Cup was, were the first World Cup champions. Believe it or not, even though they're not a country. Google it and have a look straight up. He showed it me when I asked him the other week.
Bloody hell. Well, at least in the record books.
In 18 summer, I think it was.
Right, it's like whenever you get that old stat about like Nelson FC and Real Madrid or something.
Because I was like, no way. And he went, yeah, there you go. It was called something. It was still Auckland, but not Bishop Auckland, but it is definitely the same place.
Right. So, competition in May. Give us an idea of your mindset leading into that.
Mindset going into it, it's just full focus, mate. Especially 6 weeks out. They'll be fully focused. I mean, what will I be next week? So yeah, this weekend I'll literally 8 weeks out.
Are you gonna maintain your body weight for that, or?
Yeah. No, I don't need to be any bigger. It's England's Strongest Masters, by the way, is the comp that I'm doing, which is the qualifier for the UK Masters. So the top 7 from that comp go through to the UKs.
Ooh.
And then if I win the UKs, I then actually get an invite back to where I was 10 years ago. In with the big boys at England's Strongest. Man, imagine that's a story.
Yeah, no, I'll be dragging you back on. But all right then. So you've got that. Your training camp is in full swing. You're having a couple of days recovery. Yeah. Just because, actually,
been absolutely smashing it. And I've not just been doing Eddie's program. I've been going. So these past 4, 5, 6 weeks, I've been going to the gym. I've only missed 2 sessions. So that's every day I've been going. I've missed 2 days when I've not gone, and that was purely because of fatigue. But it got to a point where I said to Julie, like I said to you before we got on this interview, I thought I've got dressed ready to go, my deadlift socks on and everything. And I just said to Julie, I can't go. I said I'm just need to crash out. And I phoned Mo and he went, yeah, you do need to rest. Because he knows how hard I've been pushing it.
Yeah, actually, just for the benefit of viewers, Mo is a mutual friend of both of ours. He's a very experienced and established strength and conditioning coach and gym equipment provider, and we will interview. We'll definitely interview him at some
Definitely.
point. So,
Papa Mo.
yeah. So throughout your training, obviously you've not done everything alone. You've had your partner.
Oh, Julie's been absolutely inspirational. Like even like when I'm having bad days at training, she'll just say, you're better than this.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just having a bad day. And then like a few weeks later, I'll go in and absolutely smash it. And she's right. She knows me better than I know myself. Honestly, Bash, she has been absolutely game changing for me since we got together.
I think it's God. I can't believe I'm going to sound all soppy now because I normally come on the podcast and I just like make like quick quips or something. But so like even like last year I was in a competition. I mean, it's not about me, but just saying I was in a competition and managed to get a decent result that I wanted. And straight away I was on the phone to the missus like,
Yeah, you do. You've got to do.
Yeah.
They're part of the journey as well. I mean, I couldn't do what I do. Like she does all my food prep. Do you know what I mean? It's like, she just sent me a photo today. £100 for me to arrive. That's weekly.
Well, as long as it's seasoned, eh?
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've been lucky this year that I've had a few sponsors jump on board. Obviously, Mo's one of my sponsors. He's let me train for free there for years. Who else have I got? There's PWR, Flooring, Paul Radley. I've got Charles Briggs, G&M, is it G&M Engineering? It's on my hoodie over there. Should have brought it over. B&M Engineering.
Yeah.
Who else have I got? I'm forgetting now.
Well, what we'll do is, all the sponsors that you got, if you just get them to me, and then I'll just chuck them in, or I'll put them on the description of the video.
Yeah, sweet mate, that's happy days.
It's better. So, right, you're counting down, you're getting close to the comp, you've got your food in place, everything else is in place, you've got your sponsors. Now, what's next for you after that competition? I know that your mindset's there, but I want to get an idea of like what your year plan is.
Right, okay, so there's that competition. So if when I qualify and when I podium from that competition, the UK's is in the July. So currently that I've got nothing booked in July. I've got one in June. I can't remember which one I've got in June, just off the top of my head. So July's booked up. August is Birmingham Strongest Man, which is paid for and on hotel books. And then September, I'm going back to Billingham, which is where I crushed my toe, which was probably one of the last biggest comp I did in 2019. Was it 2018? I did one there just before. In fact, it was 2019 before my incident. I did a comp at Billingham, and I think I finished 4th or 5th. But it will be my last crack at an opens level comp against the big boys. So we're going to go and see if we can podium there as well and go out with a bang at that level.
I think I know I keep saying for the viewers, but a lot of them are younger and they're the kind of people that they can get 2 hours sleep, crack a Red Bull can open and go to the gym and have a killer session. We can't do that.
No chance.
But you got to bear in mind that like what Matt's talking about here is like staying in peak, in condition, maintaining his strength and going month after month after month, all the way to September at his age. I'm not saying it old. That's not an easy feat, especially considering what has happened to him as well. So I've got to give you your props, man.
I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I stretch a lot more, stretch daily. Obviously, supplementation's a lot better now than it was 10 years ago. Diet's a lot better. Everything I'm doing now, because of my age as well. I've got to look after it. Things are starting to creak, and recovery does take longer. It does. It's just Father Time, isn't it? Catching up with us all, and it will come to us all. But
it's like you hear horror stories from say my colleagues at work would be like, literally saying one day he got up, he's trying to put his socks on, and he's like he pulled something in his back and he couldn't walk for days. I was like,
well, I've got that similar thing happened to me a few years ago. I was walking around Asda, I think, in Burnley with Julie, and I've pulled 285 for 5 sets of 5 in my gym session, squatted 250 for 5 sets of 5 or whatever in the same session, and then I'm walking around Asda and I've gone up to the top to get some gold top milk. My back's gone. Literally just tweaked. I'm like, Julie, I couldn't move. I'm literally stood there like that with this bottle of milk in my hand. I couldn't move, just stuck in that position until she come and tweak me out of it. Because I was focusing on the comp I was doing or prepping for at that point was more static.
Yeah.
So I wasn't doing any lateral movement. It was pure up and down. So because my muscles are getting that big, I'm not working the lateral. And that, again, lesson learned.
Yeah.
So it's...
You know what that reminds me of though? It's like whenever, like a few years back when I used to train with Mo, because he was helping me with just some of my strength work for competition. And he'd always like make me finish after session with some kind of rotational.
Yeah.
And I'd always be like,
it is so important.
but
It is
you
so
realise
important.
afterwards, yeah. So, as we start rounding off this chat that we've had today, we've talked about what's happened before, where you're at now, and what you want to do. Is there any kind of words or kind of a closing statement almost? So, even like a message you want to send to people that they can kind of take away from this conversation today?
Yeah, just try and stay positive. Like reach out if you are feeling like I was feeling. It is hard, but there are people there that are willing to help. I mean, I've responded to people when I've seen like posts on Facebook and they're on about doing X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to say it, but you know where I'm going with it. And you've reached out, and a little word, like even somebody walking down the street, "Hiya, you all right? How you doing?" You can change somebody's life. You can change the day. You can brighten the day up. A smile a day makes the world go round and creates miles of smiles.
Well, I'm hoping you're going to be smiling in May then.
Hopefully, mate. One way or another, I'll be smiling anyway because I've already won. So people keep telling me you're a champion already, but you know what it's like with us athletes. We want that silverware and the titles, don't we?
Yeah, it makes it's that because it's one thing like to even get up and compete is one thing that 99% of the population has never done in anything ever anyway. So you're already a cut above everybody else. But then, obviously, once you're an athlete, your mentality is you want something, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. You're putting in some hard yards, and it is a big sacrifice. I mean, it's not cheap neither. And like Julie's so supportive. She's never once questioned it. She's just like, come on. I mean, I was done. I was absolutely in 2015, and I'd crushed my toes at Billingham, and I was sitting in third place in a qualification spot to the Arnolds, and that all went because I crushed my toe in the penultimate event. Which was a keg load, by the way, mangled my big toe. But so that's just another injury that adds to the list. I met Julie in 2017, and then she went, you're going to get back to it. And then by February 2018, I'd done another comp, and then placed all right. I finished fourth. And then I retired from the last event because my bicep was twinging, so I played it safe. So even then I'm becoming more professional. And you just learn. You just got to learn by your mistakes and best try and learn off other people's mistakes as well. So if you can learn from mine, then happy days. And if it saves somebody from doing what I attempted to do or even going through with it, then happy days. It's a winner. It's all a success.
Yeah, no.
Turn your failures into a success story is the biggest achievement anybody can do. And I'm hoping that I'm living proof of that.
Well, firstly, grateful for you coming and sharing that with us, and also apologies for taking so long to get it on with something.
It's all
like
right,
we've been talking about this for ages, since like last winter. Like, let's get on, but yeah, no, I appreciate you coming, and
pleasure, mate.
Thank you to the viewers for tuning in, and shout out again to all your sponsors and your partner and Coach Mo, and obviously your other coaches
and
Eddie.
Again.
And hopefully tune in for the next one. Over and out.
Thank you.